Cristin Milioti is a true chameleon, bringing her unique charm, wit, and versatility to every role she inhabits. Whether she's serenading us with Broadway-caliber pipes, breaking our hearts on sitcoms, or playing mind-bending roles in sci-fi, Milioti does it all with an effortlessly cool edge. If you need any more proof that Cristin Milioti reigns supreme in the world of entertainment, here are 10 unforgettable roles where she slays as the quirky queen she is. The role that introduced Cristin Milioti to mainstream audiences in a big way. As the mother, Tracy McConnell was the character everyone spent 8 years waiting for, and Milioti had a daunting task. Charm an audience that was already half in love with Robin and half suspicious of anyone Ted could end up with. And Milioti simply nailed it. Tracy was sweet, funny, and deeply relatable, with a genuine warmth that made it clear why she was the one. In just a few short episodes, Milioti created a character who felt fully fleshed out, like someone we'd known for years. She had this incredible ability to balance humor with vulnerability. She could make you laugh one minute and break your heart the next, especially when the series finale happened and we all collectively lost it. And can we talk about the chemistry with Josh Radnor? They had an instant, easy rapport that made you wonder why Ted wasted so many seasons chasing other people. Tracy McConnell wasn't just a plot device. Milioti brought her to life with such authenticity that fans still mourn the fact we didn't get more seasons of her. The ukulele song, La Vie en Rose, that was Milioti's real voice, by the way. Stuck in a time loop at a never-ending wedding in the desert? Sure, why not? Milioti's role in Palm Springs turned a well-worn sci-fi concept into something fresh, funny, and surprisingly emotional. As Sarah, she's the cynical, world-weary counterpart to Andy Samberg's carefree, nihilistic Niles. Their dynamic is electric, like two people who are done with life, but also, weirdly, kind of thriving in their eternal monotony. Sarah's arc, though, is what really makes the movie stand out. She's not just along for the ride, she's actively trying to break free, to change the outcome, even when it seems futile. Milioti's comedic timing is spot on. She can pull off everything from deadpan humor to physical comedy with ease. And don't get me started on the emotional depth she brings. There's a whole subplot about her dealing with guilt, family baggage, and the consequences of her actions, and Milioti handles it with such nuance that you almost forget you're watching a time loop rom-com. The chemistry with Samberg is fire. They play off each other like two sides of the same chaotic coin. In the end, it's Milioti's performance that makes Palm Springs not just a fun sci-fi flick, but a surprisingly poignant exploration of life's meaning, or lack thereof. In USS Callister, Milioti plays Nanette Cole, a tech-savvy, ambitious woman who finds herself trapped in a terrifying, retro-futuristic Star Trek simulation run by a creepy megalomaniac, played by Jesse Plemons. But what starts as a terrifying hostage situation quickly becomes a masterclass in rebellion. Milioti's Nanette is no damsel in distress. She is smart, resourceful, and fearless. From the moment she realizes she's been digitized and held hostage, she works every angle to escape, turning a dystopian nightmare into her own personal uprising. And let's not forget the layers of her performance. She starts as this wide-eyed new employee who just wants to impress, but by the end, she's leading a full-blown revolution. Milioti seamlessly moves between fear, frustration, and fierce determination, all while wearing a ridiculous space uniform. The episode's final act, where she outsmarts her captor, takes command of the ship, and literally leads her team to freedom, is nothing short of epic. Milioti's ability to portray strength and vulnerability in such a short span of time makes Nanette one of the most memorable characters in the Black Mirror universe, and that's saying something in a series full of complex, unforgettable characters. Cristin Milioti brings her signature chaotic charm to the Mindy project as Whitney, Jeremy's ex, in Season 4, Episode 16, So You Think You Can Finance. When Mindy finds herself in a financial bind, she turns to Whitney for help, and Milioti's character effortlessly blends humor and unpredictability into the mix. Whitney's no-nonsense attitude and sharp wit add a unique dynamic to the episode, as she navigates through Mindy's chaotic world with a blend of competence and hilariously biting commentary. Though her role is brief, Milioti shines, making Whitney a memorable addition to the series and leaving fans wanting more of her eccentric flair. Fargo's second season introduced us to one of Cristin Milioti's most quietly powerful performances as Betsy Solverson, a character who is the heart of the season without ever needing to raise her voice. Betsy is the rock of her family, a woman who is dealing with terminal cancer but refuses to let it define her. Milioti's portrayal is breathtaking. She plays Betsy with such a calm strength that you almost forget the tragedy looming over her. But make no mistake, Milioti isn't here for melodrama. Betsy isn't a character who wallows in self-pity. Instead, she's a fighter, determined to keep her family together and protect them from the chaos surrounding them. It's a role that could easily veer into cliché, but Milioti avoids that pitfall by grounding Betsy in a very real, very human sense of determination and love. And her chemistry with Patrick Wilson, who plays her husband Lou, is off the charts. The two of them share quiet, tender moments that feel deeply lived in, like you're watching a real couple who've weathered the highs and lows of life together. When Betsy's fate inevitably comes to pass, it's not just a tearjerker, it's a gut punch, made all the more devastating because Milioti played her with such understated grace throughout the season. Imagine having a chip implanted in your brain by your creepy tech billionaire husband that lets him track your every move. Yeah, that's the premise of Made for Love, and Cristin Milioti takes that concept and runs with it, straight into bonkers, sci-fi comedy gold. As Hazel Green, Milioti plays a woman who's had enough of her controlling husband and decides to make a break for it. But this isn't just your typical escaping a bad relationship story, it's loaded with futuristic tech, dystopian undertones, and a whole lot of dark humor. Milioti's performance is endlessly entertaining because she captures all the absurdity of the situation while grounding Hazel in very real emotions. She's desperate, resourceful, and hilarious, all while navigating a world that's increasingly surreal. One minute she's running from drones, the next she's dealing with the emotional baggage of having been manipulated for years by her husband, and somehow Milioti makes it all work. Her sarcastic wit and raw vulnerability create a character who feels both larger than life and completely relatable. Watching Hazel figure out how to take back control of her life, and her mind, is a thrilling, emotional roller coaster that only Milioti could deliver with such finesse. Cristin Milioti isn't just a powerhouse actress, she's got the musical chops to match. In Once, the Tony Award-winning musical, Milioti played Girl, a Czech immigrant who helps a struggling Irish musician rediscover his passion for music. This isn't just another love story, it's a deeply emotional journey, and Milioti's performance was nothing short of captivating. She didn't just act the part, she lived it. Milioti played the piano live on stage every night, sang with heart-wrenching emotion, and completely embodied the character's quiet strength. Her rendition of the song, Falling Slowly, is the kind of performance that gives you chills, and it's no wonder she was nominated for a Tony Award. In a world where Broadway stars are often larger than life, Milioti's Girl stood out because of her subtlety and grace. She managed to make even the quiet moments feel profound, and her chemistry with co-star Steve Cozzi was pure magic. Even years after her run in the show, people still talk about Milioti's performance as one of the definitive portrayals of Girl. It's proof that whether she's on screen or stage, Milioti is always a queen. Leonardo DiCaprio may have been the star of The Wolf of Wall Street, but Cristin Milioti's performance as Teresa Petrillo, Jordan Belfort's first wife, was a scene-stealer. Teresa is the moral compass in Jordan's life, and even though we all know Belfort is destined to spiral into debauchery and greed, Milioti's performance makes you wish, just for a moment, that maybe he won't. She plays Teresa with such grounded realness that you can feel her heartbreak as she watches the man she loves slip further and further into the abyss of excess. Her scenes with DiCaprio are electric, especially when things finally implode, and Teresa confronts Jordan about his cheating. The way Milioti delivers that emotional slap to DiCaprio's face? It's not just a physical hit, it's a moral reckoning. In a movie that's all about extravagance, indulgence, and greed, Milioti's Teresa is a breath of fresh air, representing the normal life Belfort could have had if he'd only made better choices. She brings a much-needed balance to the film's wild excesses, and though her role is relatively small, her impact is enormous. The moral of the story: don't mess with Cristin Milioti. Rom-coms can be a tricky genre to navigate, but Cristin Milioti makes it look effortless in It Had to Be You. As Sonia, a neurotic jingle writer who panics when her boyfriend proposes, Milioti creates a character who is endlessly relatable to anyone who's ever second-guessed their life choices. Sonia isn't your typical rom-com heroine. She's quirky, a bit of a mess, and hilariously unsure about everything, and Milioti plays her with such charm that you can't help but root for her, even as she stumbles her way through life. What makes Milioti's performance stand out in this film is her ability to capture the chaos of modern relationships in a way that feels real, not forced. She has this way of making even the most awkward situations seem somehow endearing, like breaking into her ex's apartment to steal his dog. Her comedic timing is impeccable, and her chemistry with Dan Soder, who plays her boyfriend, is full of awkward yet adorable moments that feel lived in. But it's not all comedy. Milioti brings a lot of heart to the role, especially when Sonia starts to question what she really wants out of life. The result is a rom-com that feels refreshingly offbeat and authentic, largely thanks to Milioti's winning performance. Cristin Milioti has a knack for turning even the simplest of characters into something unforgettable, and her portrayal of Maggie in Modern Love is no different. In an anthology full of heartwarming and often bittersweet stories, Milioti's performance in When the Doorman is Your Main Man stands out for its tenderness and relatability. Maggie, a single woman navigating pregnancy and the uncertainties of life, is a character that feels incredibly grounded and real. Through Milioti's nuanced performance, Maggie becomes a fully fleshed-out person, vulnerable, hopeful, and a little lost, yet deeply connected to the relationships around her, especially with her doorman, Guzman. What's remarkable about Milioti's portrayal is how effortlessly she captures the quiet, everyday moments of Maggie's life and turns them into something profound. There's an unspoken bond between Maggie and Guzman that Milioti conveys with just a look or a shared smile, making their connection one of the most memorable relationships in the series. It's not loud or grand, but it's genuine and comforting, much like Milioti's presence on screen. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. See you in the next one.